Talking college sports in the Deep South where college football is king and the battle cry is War Eagle. The SEC is a very powerful conference in college football, maybe arguably the best in all of college football. The SEC West, because of the intense rivalries and just such high consequence coming out of the SEC West, we would like to say at worst the SEC West is a very, very competitive conference in college football. Once again, it's K2 the GOAT for Vernon Speaks Sports. We're talking Auburn football on a beautiful Saturday morning. Like, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports, where we talk about Auburn football pretty in an absurdly manner-wise War Eagle. Now, I stumbled across a topic or a comment on Auburn 24/7 Sports on Facebook. Now, when I look at this thread, I always see a bunch of complaining about Gus Malzahn. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not particularly a fan of some of the outcomes of Gus's decisions, but I can't discount his effectiveness as a coach overall. Of course, disappointing to start off. I think probably one of the worst things a coach can do. This happened with Terry Bowden as well at Auburn. It's just hard to. It's just like coming out with that great album, right? And you just can't follow up. Gus Malzahn started his first year head coaches at Auburn with a very unlikely SEC championship win and a very, very unlikely trip to the national championship. Now, you're talking the first time talking the first time Auburn has ever gone to a national championship game within a 3-year span. And Gus Malzahn, for example, like I said before, some of the decisions, some of the outcomes have not been favorable, but you can't discount his contribution to the Auburn Tigers. And also, if you think about it now, I just don't know of any coaches in the pipeline at the moment, but I just don't know if you fire him, are you better off? Will you be better off if you fire Gus? Who are you going to get? Who really want? I mean, Bob Stoops, yeah. Hell, you got Kirby Smart at Georgia, who has not beat Alabama yet. With all the great things the great developments that are going on, Georgia's still being detracted by Alabama. Can't beat them. Gus Malzahn and his tenure has beaten Alabama twice, both of which were at home, might I add. It is time for Gus to get a road win against Alabama. But arguably speaking, no other coach in the SEC has been able to accomplish that. So it kind of irritates me when I see the mindless threads about firing Gus, when, yes, Gus has disappointed us. We can't discount that. But at the same time, Gus Malzahn has accomplished something that a lot of coaches just haven't done. You look at the 2018 season, an easy opportunity. You talk about Gene Chizik during his down spiral, Tommy Tuberville. That does not turn out to be a winning season for those two coaches. Gus Malzahn managed to keep the boys reeled in, and they didn't quit. Excellent. They did not quit. The game against Texas A&M pretty much salvaged the season in a way. And then when I think about Gus Malzahn as a play caller, you definitely can't discount that. That's probably one of the better reasons to be optimistic about a Gus Malzahn run offense is the productivity. You talk about 2010 averaging 41 points a game, almost 500 yards per game. 2013 and 2014 averaging a little over 34 points per game and about 400 yards per game of productivity. During that time, what was produced was 2 national championship appearances, 2 SEC championship appearances. I want you guys to understand that the results don't lie. When Gus Malzahn started to ease out of the play calling factor, you notice a decline in productivity. Now, it's not always practical for a head coach of a Power 5 conference team to also be the offensive coordinator, but in this case, he's just got to do it because, one, Gus Malzahn wants his offense on display. There's no other coach in college football, offensive coordinator-wise, that can replicate the Gus Malzahn run offense, and that's what he wants. And, okay, you have Nick Saban, who is somewhat of a CEO of his team, but that's just not what Gus is. He is a hands-on kind of coach. He wants that offense to look a certain way. And that's why he's gone through a couple of offensive coordinators since he's been there, because even though he wants to veer towards, being objective about his offense, but he's finally being honest with himself in the fact that when he coaches football, there's a certain type of offense that he's become accustomed to and just a certain type of offense that he wants to see. And I'm really rooting for Gus, honestly, because, a lot of fans don't know. You don't want to, especially with where Auburn is right now, this is the wrong time to bring a new coach in this situation. Gus Malzahn has some solid recruits going on. He has a pretty solid coaching staff. This is not a good time to be rooting for Gus to, be fired, because you wind up in a worse situation than you think you're already in. I know several times, I've been, especially in the career path, you're thinking upline wise, man, if I could just get a different boss, things would be better. No, not necessarily, because you get that better boss and things are different in a way that you don't like. Okay, so I just need y'all to be real careful about the fire Gus narratives, because that's not always the solution. I think Alan Green has done a great job of exposing and helping Gus to realize what his strengths really were. Once again, it's K-Su the GOAT for Vernon Speaks Sports. We're talking Auburn sports like no one else does or will. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Fearless and True Gang, let's get active in the comment section. Until next time, the battle cry is War Eagle.